Yo,
Hola,
¡yujú!
hola, hola.
Hola, hola, ¿qué
¿Cómo
tal?
estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien, gracias a Dios. Primeramente, quiero darle un montón de gracias por invitarme y gracias a todos ustedes que están participando con nosotras. Es una bendición y estoy bien feliz para estar aquí. Y sí, soy una persona feliz. Estoy muy feliz y mi nombre es Jessie Feliz. So I always like
Wow.
to preface that and just say I'm so thankful and I'm so happy that we're living in this era con el internet, con la tecnología, where we can communicate and work and learn and grow and laugh and have lots of fun, but learn and grow together. Shout out to everyone. We got people from Iraq. I see hay gente de Bangladesh, de Egipto, de Rusia, pura vida. I just love toda la energía. We all can come together again to learn and grow. So, yo me llamo Jessie Feliz, and let's go ahead and get started. Disclaimer, if you hear me bambino in the background llorando, él está bien, está en su playpen, con comida, con snack, con bocadilla, but you know, he just got to express himself.
Yeah, he missed it. Just
Express yourself. Do
yeah.
what you want to do.
I love you. Okay, do you know what? There was a question about the certificate. Yes, you can get the certificate if you provide your feedback on socials or in our reflection space collection, which I'm going to show you in a very short time period. Okay, so I would love also to mention that. Jessie, talking about you, yeah. So you are Spanish language educator,
Yeah.
Edutrainer, bilingual activist for the Black American community.
Yes.
And this is fantastic. And this is just the, not the top of the thing that you can add and tell us about you. Okay. Can you please introduce yourself? Because you're increíble, persona increíble, por favor.
Gracias. Primeramente, siempre le doy toda la gloria a Dios. Yo me llamo Jessie Feliz. Soy de Detroit, Michigan. Pero en el año 2005, everybody wanted to go to either España or Mexico when we were in college. But I've always, soy Pisces. I'm a free spirit. I like to do and be unique. Porque todos somos únicos, ¿no? And so something was calling me to Costa Rica. As you can see, la bandera costarricense atrás de mí. And so I had the opportunity to study abroad por un semestre y vivía con una familia tica, tica, that's what we use, el adjetivo para describir cosas costarricenses y la gente de allí. And so it totally changed my life, not only linguistically, obviously through the immersion, but it changed my perspective as what it means to be a human being on the planet, to value things, what actually is el valor de las cosas, aparte de la plata, aparte de dinero, but actually having these experiences. And so it was an amazing, amazing experience. Came back, graduated, then got my master's, taught in Baltimore, Maryland, and talking about Spanish swag, even the way the word, the city bought with a T, Baltimore, no one from Baltimore pronounces it as Baltimore. They pronounce it with a D, Baltimore. And so that's an example of swag sounding like the people native of that region. And so I sold everything in 2013. And I said, you know what? I want to go back to the place that I love. And so I moved back to Costa Rica with like $5,000. That's all I had in mi cuenta bancaria. Like 5,000.
Wow.
I was thinking, oh, I'll make it. And so I started teaching, and not in a traditional way. I worked with small groups. I worked one-on-one. And then I was una recepcionista, administradora de hoteles, contadora. I was doing all these different jobs. And I had my daughter, at-home birth, had my daughter in Costa Rica. So I had this whole immersion for real experience.
Yeah.
And so coming back home to Detroit, Michigan is just on my heart. Not only working with the population that I serve, but just to help maestros por lo general, that we have to increase this swag, this sound of sounding como un nativo, de hablar de manera casi nativa. And so that's really what I'm passionate about, helping not only children, but also helping the adults that work with youth so that we can increase the fluency and the flow so that no one has to say, you sound, for us here in the States, oh, you sound gringo or all that stuff. No, I want people to hear you speak and to wonder, hey, they don't usted, because they are confused because you sound so well. So that's my passion. That's what I'm doing. And that's my story.
Wow, that's really inspiring. I love your story a lot. So, are you ready? I'm going to pass the mic to you, Jessie.
Pura vida.
The floor is yours. Yeah, good luck.
Gracias por todo.
Perfecto.
Okay, y buenas, I don't know if I want to say buenas tardes or buenas noches, para algunas personas buenos días. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. And again, estoy bien agradecida de estar aquí con ustedes. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Mi sitio web is jessiefeliz.com. You can search for me on YouTube and TikTok as well as on Instagram using Jessie Feliz Plus. I have a lot of things. Not only am I here to serving as an activist, I also am a edutainer, as they say. An edutainer is one who likes to educate through entertainment. So we have lots of fun. I just want to let you all know when it comes time for us checking out el video, the music video, instead of us watching it, because Anna has done such an amazing job providing you all with links, I'm just going to live model the song for you all. So here's a brief agenda of what our lesson flow and what's it all about. I'm going to talk to you briefly about the rationale. What is the purpose? ¿Cuál es el propósito? ¿Cuál es la meta? ¿Por qué necesitamos el Spanish swag? Then en vez de mirar el video, which you all can check it independently out, and please compartirlo con sus alumnos, I'm going to just rap it and perform it live for you all now. And then we're going to have some practice with the actual mnemonic device and use it as an accountability tool. And I have 4 different videos of student examples that we can assess and provide feedback. Originally, we would use a Jamboard if we were all in the same space and place, but just for time purposes, we can put our comments in the chat box. And then we'll just have some closing reflections and announcements, and any cualquier pregunta que tiene, por favor, me avisa. Tú puedes escribir, hola, from Georgia, whoop, whoop, Georgia the country or Georgia the state. Either place, it's all good.
Yay, I love this.
Okay, Georgia the state or Georgia the country, all of us together. Okay, un poquito más sobre mí, because I think pictures tell stories. I have worked, yo he trabajado en primaria y escuelas intermedias, and what we like to call the hood, en poblaciones llenas de negras, en poblaciones y escuelas diferentes, privadas, públicas, charter schools por todo lado. Y estoy bien agradecida por todas mis experiencias. And like every other teacher en los Estados Unidos, y me imagino afuera de ese país también, cuando llegó la pandemia, we all had to switch to virtual. And so then I switched to teaching virtually. Y aquí es una foto cuando era estudiante de intercambio en Costa Rica en el año 2005. An amazing experience. And again, through the internet, estoy bien afortunada because la chiquita en la mitad, Priscila, ella es tica, ella es costarricense. And through Facebook, from back in the day up until now, we're still able to communicate. And I think it's muy importante as a Spanish language educator, when you have relationships with people who are de herencia hispana, please capture those screenshots and capture those moments. Share a school appropriate, of course, conversations with your students so they can see the actual language, right? Not just limited to the textbook. Aquí es una foto when I had my daughter in Costa Rica.
Oh.
Sí, ahora ella tiene 7 años, but this is when a month after she was born. And then hace 2 años, 2 years ago.
Oh, Jessie, sorry for interrupting you. I think your mic works like really well. Like it's really loud. Can you just try to turn it a little bit down?
Está bien, está bien. Is this better right here?
Can you repeat anything? Like,
is this better now? Is this better?
I think, yeah.
Okay,
Better. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
No worries.
I apologize.
We're together. Oh, we got
somebody. It's perfect.
We got someone from Pakistan, pura vida. Somebody from Pakistan. I love it. Hola, hola. And hace 2 años, I had the opportunity to bring a group of students from my own city, from Detroit. Some people who've never left the country, let alone the state. And so that was a very special thing for me to travel with them back to the town that I love, Puerto Viejo de Limón, de Talamanca de Limón in Costa Rica, in el Caribe Sur de Costa Rica. And so because I know what motivates me ultimately is not just working with others, but my actual children, my question for you all is, what is it about you? Like, put in the chat box, please. What is it that motivates you to do what you do? What fuels you as a Spanish language educator? So go ahead in the chat box. I'm going to allocate like 30 seconds. It could be one word. It could be multiple words. what is it that fuels you to do what you do? I know it's my family, it's mi cultura, es mi gente, mi tribu, but I want to know from you all, what is it that fuels you all? So actually, we're going to take it to 30 seconds, 30 segundos. And I love using timers. It can keep us all
Yeah, I love this one too.
always using timers. So Anna, while we're waiting to hear from some of our participantes, what is it that fuels you as a Spanish language educator? What inspires you?
Like any language teacher, like
For any
it
teacher,
was.
yeah,
Yeah,
for you specifically, what fuels you to do what you do?
like I don't know, but I can share from my side. I thought that I always wanted to teach someone, but it's not enough. I know that's something more than that. It's really difficult to explain, like right
Yeah,
now. Ah ah,
yeah.
Jesse,
And so
help us.
it's something like we need to know some people. It's that's the thing. Like if you are inspired to do what you do because you want to teach others, if you want to help
Yeah,
others, if
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to liberate others, I think it's a wonderful thing. We all come from different places and spaces, pero la cosa más importante is that we not only want to empoderar, we want to
Sí, sí.
equipar, we want to
Yeah.
equip. So it's not just, I don't know how it is en tu país, pero aquí en los estados, oftentimes Spanish is just considered to be an elective, like it's a special class, like it's not as importante. And that's what the issue is. There's a lot of
Oh,
anti-bilingual mindsets aquí. And so we are,
really?
sí, es
New?
serio.
It's
We are,
new thing to me.
yeah, well, across the planet, the majority of the world is bilingual or polylingual. Pero aquí en los estados, only 21.6% is bilingüe de la población. And so most of those people are bilingual por herencia. Their parents have taught them, their grandparents have taught them, and not from schooling. So this is part of the what we're doing with Spanish S.W.A.G and what we want to do and how we want to motivate our kids.
Oh my God.
So talking about the status and specifically in los Estados Unidos, and it can be applicable in other areas. But again, only 1 in 5 American students take a foreign language, which is a problem systematically across los estados. Some states are really big on it. Other states, no. We've had this English only mentality historically in los Estados Unidos, and people have been forced. We say, oh, we are a melting pot and we want to asimilar y acostumbrarnos, but then your language represents your culture. And so why would we
Yes,
not want to encourage that? And why not encourage being bilingual? So that's a big push for what I'm all about. And we know specifically that being bilingual improves situations for children who come from poverty, because now you have más oportunidades for employment, for school, when you can communicate in more than one language.
absolutely. Yeah.
And when it comes to speaking with swag, this video I absolutely love of Kenya. This chiquita me imagino que tiene no más de 7 años. I think she has maybe like 5 años when she first did this
Oh,
video. She already understands the difference between how what she calls Mexican people say it and how everybody else says it. So if we could take a look at this and just a brief listen, and we'll see how this is.
Kenya, how do Mexican people say despacito? Despacito. And how do other people say it? Despacito. How do Mexican people say it? Chicharron. And how do other people say it? Chicharron. So, how do Mexican people say it? Tortilla. And how do other people say it? Tortillas. Kenya, how do Mexicans say ceviche? Ceviche. And how do others say ceviche? Ceviche.
And we'll just pause there. You can check that out and type in YouTube how do Mexican people say it. And obviously this Chiquita, she does not yet know the difference between Spanish as a language. I mean, just like my daughter, she always says people in Michigan versus Costa Rica. She's not yet grasped this concept of nationality, heritage versus the actual language name. Nonetheless, that little girl being 5, 6, 7 years old, she already knows there's a correct way to say it as the way her people say it, and there's an incorrect way to say it. And so that's what we're talking about, this swag. We can no longer just let our students pass by saying, me llamo es Jessica, or yo soy D. No, it's incorrecto. And so my question to all of you are, what are the most commonly mispronounced Spanish words or phrases that you hear spoken by American English speakers, or I can just say by your students in general? Anna, what's a phrase or word that you hear mispronounced often.
Like in Spanish, yeah.
In Spanish.
Oh my gosh, it's difficult right now, but I'm thinking. Um, I think there are more words, yeah, just than one. But can you give just one as an example?
Yeah. One word that I hear a whole lot is people's P-A-R-A. And people say para in vez de para.
Para. Sí, there are one R y doble R como la diferencia en pronunciación, ¿sí? Con estas dos letras y sonidos, dos sonidos.
Ajá, eso es lo que pasa. Pero ¿sabe lo que pasa también? Es que so often we've heard words in Spanish, but we have not necessarily studied them phonetically. And so I like to say we put our own linguistic funk while we're trying to pronounce somebody else's language instead of honoring the phonetics of that language. I also hear the mistranslation. A lot of people say me lamo es.
Or this one. I have never heard this. But
no, es muy común. Me llamo es. En vez de decir me llamo, mi nombre es.
Mi nombre es, me llamo.
See, and you have to make the decision. But it's because our brain wants to make those connections. But as teachers, we got to do a better job of equipping our students and correcting them when they make those errores, because they happen way too much. And so I absolutely love this document from ACFL, the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages. And the main emphasis is that you want to make sure that students have lots and lots of feedback and reliable feedback. It's not enough to just let your students practice while you're grading papers. I know we have so many responsibility factors, and I know oftentimes it's like, whoa, like it's demasiado. But honestly, it's not about practice being perfect, but practice yields permanence. And what do we want to permanently etch in our children's brains? The correct way to pronounce Spanish or the incorrect way? Okay, continuamos. So students need lots of practice time with regular qualitative feedback, emphasizing the goal of sounding near native. That is the goal of Spanish S.W.A.G. And so I want to briefly talk about this item, and then we're going to get into the song and then get into some practice. Oftentimes when we think about assessment, we think about giving un examencito y hay una calificación. Tú tienes que estudiar, tú tienes que tomar el examen y tú vas a recibir una nota, una calificación. And I know that's the traditional way of doing things. And of course, we still have to assess our students in a traditional format. However, diariamente, every single day, we need to be giving feedback, and everything does not have to get a letter grade, un porcentaje, or you got a 4 out of 5, 80%. No, we want to promote understanding and less about this letter grade, especially when it comes to language learning. Understanding requires more. It's the ability to thoughtfully and actively do the work with discernment, as well as the ability to self-assess. That's that S.W.A.G. I tell students, you got to sprinkle that S.W.A.G. Justify and critique such doings. Am I woke? That's the W in woke. Consciously be aware of what you're saying. Are you aware? Are you woke in what you were saying? Or are you just speaking aimlessly and you are not connected with what's going on? I had a professor once say, and I absolutely love what she said. She said to me, hay una diferencia entre la competencia y la actuación. La competencia es lo que sabemos, lo que hemos aprendido. Eso es la competencia, and it's easier to measure la competencia en un examen tradicional. Pero la actuación, how I produce and make sense and offer something basado en lo que ya yo sé. So we have to make sure we want to close this gap entre la competencia y la actuación. With love, with compassion, but with reliable feedback diariamente. Okay, esto es la cosa muy, muy, muy super importante.
Wow.
Okay. So the purpose is that students can use S.W.A.G, Spanish S.W.A.G, to self-assess, justify, and critique their own speaking, and to provide constructive feedback with their peers. We want to create this culture of feedback en sus aulas, en sus clases. You have to do the job. Guess what? There will be times when you make errors. Somos humanos. I love in Panamanian Spanish, this is how you say sign language, somos humanos. We're all human. Y todos tenemos derechos. Somos humanos. So we all make errors, right? But we have to get this culture of like, hey, you make an error, I make an error. So en otras palabras, la meta de Spanish Swag es que nosotros como profesores de español, que nosotros podamos no solamente empoderar, sino más bien equipar a nuestros estudiantes con no solamente una herramienta, una nueva estrategia, sino más bien con una herramienta para que ellos puedan navegar la vida bilingüe con éxito. Esa es la meta de Spanish Swag. Esto es lo que queremos hacer. Esto es lo que tenemos que hacer. Okay, practice yields permanence. What are we permanently etching en la mente, en el corazón de nuestros estudiantes? Okay, Spanish Swag music video. So again, you can check out el video on youtube.com. Yo no voy a tocarlo. I'm not going to play it right now because we know with privacy issues with YouTube, I don't want anything to happen to Ana.
Don't worry, Jessie. Don't worry about this.
Está bien, so I can play it right now, or I can
just... Sure. It's your channel. It's from your channel anyway.
Oh, sí, está bien. Instant speak like a native, practice with feedback, study, get creative. W woke, period, consciously be aware of what you're saying. A, accents matter, stress and expression, romance swagger. G, grammar check, conjugate the verbs, use the right verb tense. A. Tengo un secreto, escúchame bien por un rato. Guess what, when you speak Spanish, it's not English, it's Spanish. It's cold, sprinkle that sweat, stop walking around both. I'm like, yeah, you may not know. Dude, you sound ridiculous. Your ignorance is not conspicuous. Hey, I'm speaking from experience, not a dude who's striving for excellence. Been speaking that español, desde el colegio. Hey, no más monolingüe, Spanish like drip, yo soy bilingüe. And you can do it too. I'm trying to say swag, you'll see it. Speak like a native, practice with feedback, study, get creative. W woke, period, consciously be aware of what you're saying. A, accents matter, stress and expression, romance swagger. G, grammar check, conjugate the verbs, use the right verb and it's all about
wow. Swag. I love this video. Wow, so energized. Yeah.
Gracias, mi amorcita. Entonces, esa es la meta. Please share with your students, but it's all about, hey, Spanish swag, like having this ability. So let's get some actual practice. We can get the students hype. We can play la música. We can play el video. And all of that is great. But remember, we don't only want to empoderar. We want to equipar. We want to equip them. Because I think sometimes we get so excited about, oh, I'm encouraging my students and we're up and moving, we're having fun. But what about la actuación? What are we actually producing lo que estamos aprendiendo? So es muy importante para practicar con feedback diariamente. Okay, continuamos. So, Ana, I do have a giveaway.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. ¡Qué sorpresa!
Sí, there is a giveaway. La única cosa es que tenemos que, I would have to mandarlo directamente a ti. Deme chance. I would have to mail it to you because I don't know how it works. But
I didn't know anything.
There's a special giveaway. Whoever can learn what the acronym Spanish Swag, I will be mailing you through Amazon a Spanish Swag shirt. First of all, you're going to get a free one.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
And one of your followers or whoever's participando, if they themselves can say what swag is and put it into their own words, they will win a free shirt as well. And so that's going to be on you for you to give me your dirección and one of your followers, and I will email that to you. I mean, I will order that directly through Amazon and ship it to you for you and one of your amazing followers. So,
Jessie, you are amazing. I'm speechless, actually. No palabras para describirme.
No, todo bien. Look, la meta is that we want to just encourage each other, equip each other, y empoderar.
Actually, I didn't know that what you're going to talk about, all of this, that Spanish swag, it's not only about Spanish, actually. Of course, there is an issue that you have described, but it's every native language.
Sí.
It's like, it's tan grande.
It's English swag.
Wow.
Russian swag. It's Mandarin swag. It's Urdu swag. It's Hindi swag.
Yes.
French swag. Mi enfoque es el español, porque tenemos un montón de gente que ya habla español en nuestro país. And so there's no excuse for why people are not bilingüe, period. The young people say, period. Like, no hay excusa. But yes, the swag is para todo el lenguaje, para todos los idiomas. It's just to emphasize, we want you to sound near native. And for teachers, we have to do a better job with not just empowering and not having it just be an elective. And maybe this is more of an issue in los Estados Unidos, yo no sé. But we have to do it better. But even when I've worked with students who have studied English, tú hablas muy bien el español, el inglés, tu lengua propia, tú hablas bien. But I've worked with people even when they're learning English, and there are muchos errores. And I'm wondering, well, wait a minute, who's there to provide you with that swag-oriented feedback? Because how are you passing these exams? That's what I'm talking about, la competencia. That's
a quality. Yeah, the only word is like, I've just got it. That's popped up. The quality of this languages, idiomas. Sí, es tan grande.
Eso es eso, the quality, la calidad, perfecto. So you just said quality, right? So this is a constructive feedback accountability tool. It does not take the place of an evaluation rubric. I am not saying to throw away your examencitos, no. But if you are on a regular basis encouraging your students and referring back to SWAG, then when it comes time for them to take that speaking assessment, which also improves their reading and writing assessment scores, then they're going to demonstrate more mastery because you're not waiting until el día antes del examencito para revisar. Right? We're doing this diariamente. So let's take a look. Vamos ahorita. We're going to apply SWAG. You all in that PDF, the link that Ana shared.
I've shared it. I've shared it.
Perfectísimo. And so now we're going to take a look at one of my students, and I'm going to show you how I would provide feedback. And Ana just shared it again. Gracias, mi amor. And so how do we use this to provide constructive, qualitative feedback? And so we chunk it, speaking like a native. Woke. That's probably the most challenging part. Are you aware when you are making repetitive errors? Are you aware that wokeness, that mindfulness can be a challenge in any language, let alone a second or third, right? In Spanish, we know accents matter. I was just on my podcast, which is on Sundays. I just shared an example la semana pasada, last week, about how I called the priest papa versus papa. So I called the priest potato, not stressing for papa. And so accents do matter. And then grammar check, conjugate the verb, choose the right verb tense. Grammar is what makes your speech comprehensible. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. This is one of my amazing students, Joseph. If you are not already using Flipgrid, Ana, do you know that?
Yes, absolutely. We love it.
Yes, whether you're working with chiquitos or niños de colegio or adults, I love Flipgrid because it can capture in a moment, and then you can provide reliable feedback. It's whether you are virtually teaching or you are in person. And so for this task, this young man, Joseph, I like to give my students sometimes one sentence and a longer sentence. I want to know, are you applying SWAG to your reading? Because that way you read should reflect how you speak, right? And so he's not going to have anything taken off for the G grammar check because the sentence was already correctly written. But let's listen to how he reads this text. It's a short sentence about las vidas negras importan, about Black Lives Matter. And he's reading this text, and then I'm going to show you how I provide him feedback.
El movimiento Black Lives Matter denuncia la violencia y discriminación que aún existe contra la gente negra.
Okay. So from that, here's the feedback that I provided this young man. Sorry, the text is slightly off, but speaking like a native, he pronounced the word gente beautifully. He said gente, he didn't say chente, he didn't say gente, he said gente. And the reason why he pronounced that well is because Mi Gente is a very popular song, and it's in one of the video games that the kids play. So his ears are using Mi Gente, como mi gente, they hear it, right? He also pronounced aún. So you want to not only use the swag to like talk about las cosas negativas or mal pronunciadas, you want to also give praise when praise is due, right? Woke. The way he said denuncia, violencia, that's not Spanish. It should be denuncia, violencia, right? And then he also said movimiento contra discriminación. The accents were off. So this is just an easy way for me to provide quick feedback. And after I do that, what I like to do is send my students right to SpanishDict.com.
Oh, I love Spanish Dict. Yeah, we love this one. This is one of the best. One of the best, yes.
It's an amazing resource, and it's right then and there. So, for example, with Tanisha, we got some folks in the house. I love diversity. And so, like right then and there, if I'm in a classroom with a student, they come to me, they read their sentence. If I'm noticing that there is un errorcito, like especially that word repetitive, I write the words down, and he goes to the next station. I want you right now to look up denuncia. Not only do you get to hear it, but you get to visually hear a Spanish speaker pronounce it.
Denuncia.
And I like this, el video con la mujer o el hombre, you know? Yeah, this one, yeah.
Nuncia.
That's what I'm talking about. Essay, speak like a native, practice with feedback, study, get creative. Well, how amazing is it? How amazing is it that, hey, you can be creativo, but you have the internet to help you out. It's not like, okay, Johnny, you got a 90%, or Johnny, you got a 60%, and then move along. How is he getting reliable feedback? No, Johnny, you said denuncia and you said discrimination. No, I want you to go right now because I have to move on to the next student, right? We have un montón de chiquitos en el mismo clase. I have to move on to someone else, but I want you to go right now and to practice with this person. It's an amazing free resource. That's what I'm saying. No hay excusa, right? And so I would be not a good teacher if I hear my student, oh, he read the sentence, he did some words right, and then I just gave him a score and I did not address these issues, because that's not bueno. That's like muy malo. That's bad instruction. And so, like, here's just an example. I would send him right then to SpanishDict.com for him to practice with that. Okay. What we're going to do is I'm briefly just going to play these 3 videos instead of, because again, when I normally do this workshop and we're in persona, we separate into breakout rooms.
Yeah.
We go in groups where I have elementary teachers, middle and high school, and then high school teachers, and we provide feedback. I'm going to ask all of you, hola Tamar, buenas noches, or buenas tardes. Just listening to how the students are pronouncing, and if they're speaking with swag, and what type of feedback. Estoy encantada de conocerte también. What feedback you would give to someone. So we have Lauren, ella es chiquita, ella es de segundo grado. Judah es de séptimo grado ahora. Pienso que él es de sexto grado. Y Kendall is de octavo grado, but she now is a high schooler. So let's take a look at what we're doing with these. Aquí is Lauren. And in the PDF that Anna shared, you all have access to these videos. Oops, let me click on the wrong thing. Lo siento. Okay, let's take a look at Lauren and thinking about swag and cómo se pronuncian las palabras ella. And think about the elements. Which part does she need more feedback or assistance on?
Hola, me llamo Lauren. Tengo 6 años. Mi favorito número es 10. Adiós, chicos.
I don't know if you all heard it, but I heard dos cosas. I'll play it one more time.
No, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Hola, me llamo Lauren. Tengo 6 años. Mi favorito número es 10. Adiós, chicos.
Lauren is so cute, and she's such a positive. I love working with her. So, dos cositas. She speaks like a native. Su abuelito is de Mexico. She has a native sound. Pero I would be remiss if I did not address 2 things. Grammar check. She said, mi favorito número. en vez de mi número
Mi
favorito.
número favorito, sí, es la ordena diferente, like, it's different, yeah.
Sí, but you got to correct that, right? And she also said, mi llamo, en vez de me.
Me llamo, sí.
And it's quick feedback, but then you also congratulate. You said, tengo 7 años. You said everything else. You want to address and give the positive feedback, but you have to address those areas of concern, because if not, she's going to continue saying, mi favorito número, and she's going to apply it to other things by putting the
Sí,
adjective in front.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at Judah.
Me llamo Judah. Yo vivo en California y yo tengo 9 años. Mi número favorito es 20 y eso es todo. Adiós.
It's like 20 or 20, yes, it's something, yeah, con el número.
Sí, sí. La única cosa con él es la manera de pronunciar la B.
Sí.
Now, I will say this. V is pronounced like a B, 20.
Sí, sí.
Pero I have to put this injection part. En los Estados Unidos, porque tenemos una gran influencia de inglés,
Sí.
cada año los tiempos se van cambiando. Hay gente hispana que se pronuncia la V como V. So I would provide him feedback where I want you to say, yo vivo en California y 20 en vez de 20 and vivo. And so you have to be woke with that. But it's just short little feedback that you can provide for students. And then last but not least is Chiquita. She's giving
Jessie, I would love to add here that my teacher, she told me, that there are different dialects, but I've seen the books, many books in Spanish, and the audio, it's like somewhere it's ve. It's not like be at the very beginning of the letters, but I was taught by my great teacher, Irina Anatolyevna Mekeshova, thank you so much. She taught me Spanish at university, and she always told us that vale es como be, sí, when it's the beginning of the letters, at the very beginning, yeah.
Perfectísimo. Y saludos a tu profesora también.
Yes. Thank you, muchas gracias.
Sí, por supuesto, hay dialectos diferentes. Eso es correctísimo. Hay dialectos por cada región y país. All of that is true. However, we have to still address that it's not the V. It is not a strong V. My father's name, que descanse en paz, my father's name was Vincent. In Spanish, that is Vicente. No one says Vicente. It's Vicente. Se escribe como una B, pero se pronuncia. And even when you're learning in Spanish-speaking countries, they say B grande for the letter B y B chiquita for the letter V, because people will pronounce it. One of my good friends, Julio de Nicaragua, I remember we had a celebration before I was about to leave the country, and he was like, ¿Qué tipo de vino quiere? What type of wine do you want, Jessica? And he texted to me with the letter B. Clearly it's V, but we know the way you pronounce it is with una B. Sí. Y ese es el último ejemplo. Here's the last example.
Hola, hoy voy a hablar de mis vacaciones. La primera pregunta es, ¿a qué lugar te gustaría ir de vacaciones? Yo quiero ir a Egipto. La segunda pregunta es, ¿por qué te gustaría ir de vacaciones ahí? Yo quiero ir a Egipto.
Pause, and we have some amigos right here from Egipto. So, first of all, I would give this student shout outs because she did say the Egipto correctly. The Egipto was perfecto, but she said Egipto en vez de Egipto. It's those I like to have, sometimes I tell the kids, I'm like, you know what, you need to drink some more Spanish swag. And I'm like, drink some more Spanish swag. When I have my salt, I'm like, sprinkle some more swag, just un poquito más. That's what it's about, just providing un poquito más de comentario on a regular basis. It really goes a long way. So then the next time that student comes to you, they're not saying 20, they're saying 20. They're not saying Egipto, they're saying Egipto. They're not saying mi favorito número, sino mi número favorito, right? And so in doing so consistently, eso es la cosa. So just think about this. This is a silent Buenas vibras. Yes. Eso. I'm all about buenas vibras. You gotta have good vibes. If you don't
I
got
love your energy. You're amazing. Like, my cheeks
gracias,
are, cracking a little bit.
gracias a ti. Let me just let you know, I'm all about buenas vibras. I tell people, if you ain't got no buenas vibras, vete para allá. Like, learn how to be around that negative energy. But you know what? The question is for all of us, and this is an ongoing question that I have to ask myself. What can I do to make Spanish swag? And not just swag for Spanish, but for any language that you are teaching. What can I do to make this more accessible to my students right now, this school year, in my profession? What can I do? Because we can always, siempre hay maneras y hay oportunidades para desarrollar, para crecer. And if anyone's like, oh, I don't need to learn, I know everything perfectly, get out of here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's not it. So just being mindful. We want to practice, I love saying woke, bilingualism, mindfulness in the language. And again, swag is applicable across the board. So I just want to let you know, you can follow me online. Check out mi sitio web, jessiefeliz.com. I love to post videos of mis clases, mis estudiantes, so you can see me live in action. I have some upcoming workshops for the new school year. They'll be posted shortly. But please, I know right now all of my items from Amazon or website can be shipped a los Estados Unidos. If you are afuera del país, just mándame un correo electrónico and we can coordinate that shipment for you. But I am here, estoy aquí para servirle. If you have any preguntas, mándame un correo electrónico. Esto es hola@jessiefeliz.com. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, and my podcast is now available on Spotify and on Google and on iTunes. Just type in Jessie Feliz Spanish Swag, and I'm here. If anyone has any questions, por favor, me avisa, pregúntame. Y gracias a Ana por la oportunidad de estar aquí con ustedes.
Wow, it was amazing. I've learned so many things from you. Lots of insights, Jessie. I need a day, to think of everything that you brought here. This is so meaningful that I didn't know that you mentioned about the Spanish language, because when I was learning Spanish that time at university, so it was one on the stage #1 of the popularity. And our teacher with a great proud, she was really proud that she was teaching us. And I was really proud because I didn't want to learn French at that time. And so I was really lucky that I had a chance to learn Spanish, and I love it, like really beautiful. El idioma de la poesía en el idioma bonito, sí.
Sí.
Absolutely. And thanks a lot for sharing. You're really generous and super energetic, la profesora de español. And you are much more like, you're amazing. Absolutely. Thanks for bringing so many insights today. And so I think this is it. I've shared with all the resources, all the links, resource space. Oh, yes.
Don't forget, reach out to Ana, and Ana, cualquier miembro de su comunidad that is like can embrace Spanish swag and can tell us what it means for them in their classroom. They can give you your address, and I will be mailing you and one more person una camiseta de Spanish swag. So just let me know.
Yeah, I suggest you to watch the video that Jessie has made. Yep. Are these were you your students? I mean, in this video.
Some of them were mis primitas, most of them, and some of my students were in their students and my cousins. Mm-hmm.
They were amazing too, like, I love this video with all my heart, really. Mm-hmm. And I think this is it. If you have any questions, drop them in the Q&A box. Don't forget that there is reflection space. You can reach me out on Facebook and in our Wakelet educators group. And I'm going to share once again when I will make the post happen on Facebook with the resource collection link. And so stay tuned and stay safe, of course. And see you in the next videos then. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Jessie. It was fantastic. Tú eres increíble.
Gracias. Gracias.
Adiós. Hasta luego. Sí, nos vemos. Chao.
Chao.